Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind a lot lately. The simple, beautiful moments that make life truly rich. We often chase big milestones, grand adventures, and spectacular events, thinking that's where happiness is. But sometimes, the most profound joy is found in the quiet, ordinary moments, the ones that sneak up on you and fill your heart without any warning. I had one of those moments just the other night. It was a completely normal Tuesday. Work was done, the day was winding down, and we all gathered around the dinner table. There was nothing special on the menu, just a simple home-cooked meal. But what happened next was anything but ordinary. It started with my grandpa. He was telling us about his childhood, back in the days when he and his friends used to build makeshift go-karts out of old wooden crates and prom wheels. He described in hilarious detail how his first ever creation, which he'd named the Comet, immediately fell apart the second it hit a bump, sending him tumbling into a hedge. The way his eyes twinkled as he relived that memory, the sound of his own chuckles as he remembered his youthful foolishness, it was just infectious. We were all hanging on his every word, picturing this little boy covered in leaves and scratches, but with a massive grin on his face. That story seemed to open a floodgate of memories and laughter. My mum, who usually just talks about her day in a matter-of-fact way, suddenly launched into a story about a ridiculously funny mishap at her office. Apparently, during a very serious video conference with an important client, her cat decided to leap onto her desk and start batting at the dangling cord of her headphones. The whole call watched as this fluffy little menace proceeded to unplug her, plunging her into digital silence. She was mortified at the time, but telling it now, she was almost in tears from laughing so hard. Her reenactment of the cat's sneaky attack was a performance worthy of an award. Then it was my dad's turn. He's the king of cheesy jokes, but this time he had a real story. He told us about our new neighbor, a very serious-looking man who spends his weekends meticulously gardening. My dad, trying to be friendly, went over to admire his prize-winning roses. As he leaned in for a closer look, he tripped over a garden gnome he hadn't seen and did a full-on slapstick-style somersault right into the rosebush. He emerged with thorns in his shirt and dirt on his face, only to see the super serious neighbor doubled over in silent, wheezing laughter. It turns out the stern gardener has a great sense of humor, and they've been friends ever since. The image of my dad, tangled in a rosebush and looking bewildered, had us all howling. Not to be outdone, my kid chimed in with a story from school. They had a dress as your hero day, and one little boy came dressed as a bin man, complete with a tiny, homemade recycling bin. When the teacher asked him why he chose a bin man, he said with all the seriousness a 6-year-old could muster, because they make the world clean and they get to ride on the back of a big truck. That's a hero. The pure, innocent logic of it was so heartwarming and funny. It was a little reminder of how kids see the world with such clarity and wonder. As I sat there listening to these stories, the table was alive. It wasn't just a place to eat. It was a stage for our lives, a hub of shared joy. The sound of our combined laughter was like music. It wasn't a symphony orchestra, more like a quirky, slightly out-of-tune folk band, but it was our music and it was beautiful. In that moment, I realized something important. We spend so much time and energy trying to manufacture happiness. We plan expensive holidays. We buy the latest gadgets. We strive for perfect Instagram-worthy moments. And those things can be fun, of course. But true, deep-seated happiness that often comes from these unplanned, imperfect, and wonderfully human connections. It's the laughter that makes your stomach hurt. It's the shared vulnerability of telling an embarrassing story. It's the feeling of being completely present with the people you love, with no distractions, no phones, just faces and voices and shared air. It's the simple act of listening and being listened to. These are the moments that build the foundation of a family. They're the inside jokes that will be retold for years to come. They're the memories that will warm you on a cold day. This is the real stuff of life. The grand events are the fireworks, spectacular but fleeting. These everyday moments are the stars in the night sky, constant, quiet, and always there to guide you home. So, my challenge to you and to myself is to look for these moments. Cherish them. Create space for them. Put your phone down at the dinner table. Ask your grandparents about their youth. Ask your kids about their day and really listen to the answer. Share your own funny mishaps. Be vulnerable. Be present. You might just find that the greatest treasures of your life are not the big, shiny things you've been chasing, but the small, quiet, laughter-filled moments that were there all along, waiting for you at the dinner table. Happiness isn't always a destination. Sometimes it's just a simple meal shared with the people who know you best. Thanks so much for watching and sharing this moment with me. If this resonated with you, I'd love it if you hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about finding the beauty in the everyday. Until next time, take care and cherish the simple things.